Yeah. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 24, Text 9. Yeshu Maharaja Mayena Maya Vina Vinimrita Puro Nanamani Pravara Raveka Virachita Vichitri Abhavana Prakara Gopura Sabha Chaitya Chatvara Yathana Dibhir Nagasura Mituna Paravata Sukha Sarikaki Rina Kritrima Bhumibhir Vivareshvara Grihottamai Samala Kritas Chakshati Chakashati Yeshu. In those lower planetary systems, Maharaja, or my dear king, Mayena, by the demon named Maya, Mayavina, possessing advanced knowledge in the construction of material comforts, Vinirmitaha constructed Puraha cities, Nana Mani Pravara of valuable gems, Praveka with excellent Virachita constructed, Vichitra wonderful, Bhavana houses, Prakara walls, Gopura gates, Sabha legislative meetings, rooms, Chaitya temples, Satvara schools, Ayatana Adibhi with hotels or recreation halls and so on. Naga of living entities with snake-like bodies. Asura of demons, of godless persons. Mithuna by couples. Paravata pigeons. Sukha parrots. Sarika minus. Akirna crowded. Kritrima artificial. Bhumivi possessing areas. Vivara Ishvara of the leaders of the planets. Graha Uttame with first class houses. Samala Samala Krita decorated. Akashati shine magnificently. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. My dear king, in the imitation heavens known as Vilas Swarga, there is a great demon named Mayadana, who is an expert artist and architect. He has constructed many brilliantly decorated cities. There are many wonderful houses, walls, gates, assembly houses, temples, yards, and temple compounds, as well as many hotels serving as residential quarters for foreigners. The houses for the leaders of these planets are constructed with the most valuable jewels, and they are always crowded with living entities known as Nagas and Asuras, as well as many pigeons, parrots, and similar birds. All in all, these imitation heavenly cities are most beautifully situated and attractively decorated. My dear king, in the imitation heavens, known as Bilasvarga, there is a great demon named Maya Dhanava, who is an expert artist and architect. He has constructed many brilliantly decorated cities. There are many wonderful houses, walls, gates, assemblies, houses, temples, yards and temple compounds, as well as many hotels serving residential quarters for foreigners. The houses for the leaders of these planets are constructed with the most valuable jewels, and they're always crowded with living entities known as Nagas and Asuras, as well as many pigeons, parrots, and similar birds. All in all, these imitation heavenly cities are most beautifully situated and attractively decorated. Next verse. The parks and gardens in the artificial heavens surpass in beauty those of upper heavenly planets. The trees in those gardens, embraced by creepers, bend with a heavy burden of twigs with fruits and flowers, and therefore they appear extraordinarily beautiful. That beauty could attract anyone and make his mind fully blossom in the pleasure of sense gratification. There are many lakes and reservoirs with clear, transparent water, agitated by jumping fish and decorated with many flowers such as lilies, kuvalayas, kala, kalaras, and blue rain lotuses. Pairs of chakravakas and many other water birds nest in the lakes and enjoy in happy mood, making sweet, pleasing vibrations that are very satisfying and conducive to enjoyment of the senses. Since there is no sunshine in those subterranean planets, time is not divided into days and nights, and consequently, fear produced by time does not exist. Many great serpents reside there with gems on their hooves, and effulgence of these gems dissipate the darkness in all directions. Since the residents of these planets drink and bath in the juices and elixirs made from wonderful herbs, they are freed from anxiety and physical diseases. They have no experience of gray hair, wrinkles, or invalidity. Their bodily lusters do not fade. Their perspiration does not cause a bad smell, and they are not troubled by fatigue or lack of energy or enthusiasm due to old age. They live very auspiciously and do not fear death from anything but death. That's established time, which is the effulgence of the Sudarshan chakra of the Supreme Personality of God. This is the defect of material existence. Purport. Everything in the subterranean heavens is very nicely arranged. They are well situated residential quarters. There is pleasing atmosphere and there are no bodily inconveniences or mental anxieties. But nevertheless, those who live there, have to take another birth according to karma. Persons whose minds are dull cannot understand this defect of materialistic civilization aiming at material comforts. One may make his living conditions very pleasing for senses, but despite all favorable conditions, one must, in due course of time, meet death. The members of the demonic civilization endeavor to make their living conditions very comfortable, but they cannot check death. The influence of Sudarshana Chakra will not allow their so called material happiness to endure. ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं शापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपगदामायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं जाग्रतातं सगनरघुनाथान्वितं तं सेवम् अद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सागररघुनाथ श्रीविशद्धामितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कन्त राधा कन्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Thank you for attending the Srimad Bhagavatam class today. We are speaking about again the fifth canto, which covers the entire description of the material universe. I think this is the part of, in the beginning we covered also the breadth of the universe. I don't know which chapter is the other one. The entire, the breadth, all the islands. Now we are covering the vertical, the of space of the universe. So now we are looking at the verses of Bilasvarga, which is of the planets of the lower planetary system, below the earthly planets, but their enjoyment and their life is so nice, as we saw in the description that we can see in the verse here, that they do not even have bad odor. They do not grow old. Their enjoyment is even more greater than the enjoyment experienced by the demigods in the heavenly planets, because they have no understanding of time. So sometimes you may wonder why there is so much time spent in describing the material places, material universes. For example, if you look at the 8th canto in Gajendra Leela, before the Leela even begins, before the prayers of Gajendra even begins, there is almost 20 plus verses to 30 verses, I think, describing how beautiful the place is, right? Where Gajendra was living, the Trikuta mountain. So much time spent in describing all these places. So there's a lot of emphasis on describing the location, right? So why not describe, like Tati Prabhu, I'm actually just rephrasing what Tati Prabhu was saying in his previous class last week. Why not just describe the material, I mean the spiritual world, right? So this is why we describe all this, is because we have no experience, right? From time immemorial, we have fallen from Krishna, and we are living in this place called the material world. This has become our residence. So to suddenly give knowledge, like how, example, Lord Buddha, when Lord Buddha came, he came to stop the nindasi yagya videraha shruti jatam sadaya hridaya darshita pasugatam keshavadrita buddha sarira jaya jagadisha hare. Because they were misusing the Vedas, he had to stop the animal slaughter. So he had to decry the Vedas. He has to stop the Vedas. So there was the whole Vedic knowledge was lost. And when Sankaracharya came, he couldn't immediately explain about the Supreme Lord, because now everybody became an atheist. Sunyavadi. Buddhism is Sunyavad, right? So everybody is atheist. So suddenly to speak to an atheist and explain there is a personal form of God is very difficult. So Sankaracharya, even though he spoke Mayavad philosophy, which is offensive to the form of the Supreme Lord, that was necessary at the time to elevate the consciousness of the people, because people cannot relate to a personal form of the Lord after following atheism for so many centuries, right? Or even 1000 years. So the Mayavad philosophy was upgrade from the Buddhist philosophy. It was very similar to Buddhist philosophy, but it helps them to come to the next level of accepting the Vedas at least. But it was accepted, they are accepting the Vedas in a very distorted, misinterpreted way. Then after that, of course, our Vaishnava Acharyas came, Sri Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Vishnu Swami. They all came. Finally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave the highest knowledge. So if you see everything when you speak to the audience, there has to have some relation to the audience, right? Also, so a lot of time the Bhagavatam, even though is giving the highest fruit from the tallest tree, right? They call this Nigama Kalpataro or Galitam Palam Sukhamuka, is the highest fruit of this Vedic tree. But how this highest fruit can connect to the lowest jivas, living beings like us? So it also has topics which helps to connect us. So there is explanation of this whole material universes in the fifth canto and many places, just to show actually where you are living, how you are living. And see, the point of material existence is, when we go to school, the teacher always tell us this thing, right? Who ask this question? Who, what, how, where, why, when and why. 6 things, right? So these 6 things are always being, the teacher tells us to question these 6 things, but they never ask this question, why. Any material topics, science, philosophy, anything you learn, there's a when, there is where, the location, right? So here also there's so many things about the where, right? The location. There is the how, there is the who is involved. Like if you look at history of the world, all these questions are being asked: who was involved in the world war, where it was happening, when it was happening, how it was happening, but actually why it is happening. What's the real reason behind this? That is not being answered. But the Srimad Bhagavatam answers this question of the simple question of why. So it gives you everything: the who, what, when, how, where, why, how, right? But it also gives you the most important question of the why. And if you go live your life knowing everything else but the why, then what's the point of that life? You know everything. It's just like the boatman and the scholar. The boatman knows nothing, but he knows how to swim. The scholar doesn't. He knows everything. He knows how every question he knows. He can participate in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and definitely win also. But the why, uh, why how to save his life, he doesn't know. So this is how the material world is designed. That's why the Vedic planetarium very important. Like Chhatri Prabhu asked this question, right, to Prabhu that day. Why we need Vedic planetarium in Mayapur, which is a land of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came to give Anarpita Charim Sirad Karonaya Vitirna Kalo. He came to give Samarpaitam Unvata Ujjvala Rasa, the highest Krishna Prem. Why is there planetarium in that place? Why? Because the Prabhu gave answer that we are all indoctrinated, trained from a young age, that what we see, how science sees the world, that's how you should see. Our vision of life, our perception of life, our experience of life. We have been nurtured in that way to think that there is a godless society. So as I was saying that day, the atheist is saying, where is God? And the devotee is saying, where is not? Right? Because our life is molded in a way to understand that there is no God. Everything is empty space, nobody is there. So Prabhupada came for a lot of reasons, but one of the big reasons he came was to also smash this science which teaches this atheism. Because when there is atheism, like how the septarian heavens are, there is so much atheism, there is complete no disregard. Right? Everybody is thinking about how to enjoy their senses to the maximum. And there's so much exploitation, and we can see in this world, when we live a life like that, there is no responsibility at all. You go on destroying the nature, right? So Prabhupada wanted a planetarium to explain the real vision or the real model of the universe, which has the hands of the Lord in every single step. Every single atom, there is the Lord present. That's what Prabhupada wanted us to see. So when you grow up, right, there's two things that you grow up with. One is your nature, which you're born with the mode of nature, right? Purusha Prakriti. You go to this verse. Purusha prakriti stohe bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangasya sarasat yoni janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the way of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. So, karanam guna sangasya. Whatever the mode we are born in, whatever that is the nature. Everybody has a different nature. Right? Somebody likes spicy. Somebody doesn't like sweet. Somebody doesn't like salt. So these are various natures that we inherit from our previous lives, the vasanas, the samskaras that we carry from previous lives, right? And then there is something called nurture. You're born into that family, right? What is that? Verse 331 1. Karmana, Deva Netrena, Jantro Deho Pate, Striya Pravista Udaram, right? You're injected into a womb of a mother who also has that similar nature, mother and father, and you have your nature like that. They also nurture you, so your whole life experience and vision and perception is based on these things. And somebody says, I know something, I know everything. It is all based on your own mental speculation, mental experiences, various experiences. There is nothing beyond the mind. The praman that you're using is pratyaksha and anuman only. And Prabhupada wanted to introduce Shabda Brahman. Shabda Brahman, which is beyond your mind and senses, your experience, your nature, and your nurture. And that is the reason why Prabhupada wanted to translate the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So all these books, through the guidance of the spiritual master, the devotees, if we understand this, we upgrade our vision of life now. So this whole Mayapur planetarium is meant to upgrade the vision of our life, to come beyond, because now your nurture and nature, your nature is such and your nurture is such that you think that sense gratification gives you happiness. This is what the people in the subterranean heavens are thinking. But if you go to this verse, Bhagavad Gita, Mogasa, Moga Karmano, Moga Jnana Vicheta Sahara, Rakshasim, Asurim Chaiva, Prakritim Mohinim Shrita. So what happens is these people in the subterranean heaven or even in earth, everywhere, if you have an idea that I will enjoy separately from Krishna, then you have demonic consciousness. I do not need Krishna in my life. I do not need God. I am my own boss. I am my own God. So this is called moha, or an illusion. So those who are bewildered are attracted by demonic atheistic views. So you have atheistic views now. You interpret the universe as an empty space, right? Anything that you want to do is actually to conquer and exploit. Now the Donald Trump, he wants Greenland. Why? Nothing belongs to him, but he's saying this is mine. Why? Because he wants to use Greenland for his own sense gratification, America's sense gratification. So every other country is having a geopolitical war with America because they also have our own self-interest, national interest. But what is national interest? Our own sense gratification, it must be protected. And apparently we are living in a time where America now is the most powerful nation, right? Who is controlled by these demonic atheistic views, right? So now even if they go to moon planet, what they want to do there? Why they plant the flag in the planet? It's just to show that my planet is. Now you're all into cricket, right? All of you all. Cricket, football, sports. The sporting ability is just one aspect of it. Many of this thing is actually connected to the nation pride. Oh, we won Pakistan. We won India. We won the World Cup. A lot of it has connection to the nature, the selfish nature, right? If you think about it, all this World Cup and all, it's all about country, nation pride. It's all connected to the self identity of the person. My country won, right? You see how the selfishness is connected to the false ego. So like that, people, those who are thus bewildered, are attracted by demonic atheistic view. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge all defeated. Defeated by what? The time factor. So this is the same thing happening in the Bila Swarga, in the Earth planet, in all other planets, even in heavenly planets. Of course, in heavenly planets, they understand the Supreme Lords, so it's not that bad. They are devotees. but they are into sense gratification. But the time factor destroys everything, right? If you go to another verse, it's quoted many times by Srila Prabhupada. पराभवस्तावत् अबोध जाता यावन्न जिज्ञासत आत्मतत्त्वं यावत् क्रियास्तावत् इदं मनोवै कर्मात्मकं येन शरीर बंधा. So Rishabdev, right, speaking to his son, as long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to misery arising from ignorance. So no matter what you do, you may be very happy, you may be living in a huge bungalow, have many cars, you may be making like Elon Musk trillions of no, billions of dollars, richest man in the world. But if you do not inquire about the real spiritual values of life, who am I? Then it's defeated. You may live in the Dila Swarga, you may enjoy temporarily. You'll be defeated by time. Right? Kalosmi, Bhagavad Gita 10:34. Krishna is saying, I'm time. I destroy everything. Prabhupada also said many times, if you don't accept Krishna, then you have to accept Krishna as time. He'll come as time. Like Hiranyakashipu, he did not accept Krishna. But the Lord came as Narasimha and finished him, right? So we may say anything we want to say. We may speak like a madman, right? There's a Bengali saying, right? What a madman doesn't speak, what a goat doesn't eat. You know that saying in Bengali? Pagal kina bole, chagal kina kai. Yeah. So what the goat doesn't eat and what the madman doesn't speak, right? So all these are defeated, right? If you don't ask this question. So be it sinful or pious, karma has its result in action. If a person is engaged in any kind of karma, karmatmakam yena sharira bandha. His mind is called karmatmaka, colored with fruitive activity. As long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear, and as long as one is absorbed in fruitive activity, one has to accept a material body. So after the time is finished, you finish your time in the Bilaswarga, again you come back. Jatasya dhri dhruva mrityu dhruva janma mritasya cha. Aparyam, aparyame, I forgot the verse. Dhruva janma. So if you see also the next verse, 557, the next two verses also, the same point is mentioned. Even though one may be very learned and wise, he is mad if he does not understand the endeavor for sense gratification is useless waste of time. Exactly what we are doing every lifetime. If you think about it, every one of us is different, right? We say all of us are different. If you see every one of us, the thumbprint, everyone has a different thumbprint. No person has a similar thumbprint DNA, correct? But everyone, even though different life, different species, everyone wants one thing called happiness. And we think that happiness is coming from sense gratification. So no matter how variety is there, how much variety is there, right? You think about it, how much variety is there? How much race, how much clothing, how much dresses, how much brands, everything is variety, right? But everyone has a common goal, which is called happiness. Am I right? And everyone thinks that happiness comes from sense enjoyment. Because you think you're the body. For example, how many billion people are there on the earth now? Is it 8 billion now? 8.3 billion. Is there such a thing where 2 billion people says, I want misery? 3 billion people say, I want happiness. Right? Another 3 billion say, I am okay with both. No, right? All 8 billion say one thing, I want to be happy. And how will I be happy? I will be happy through sense enjoyment, sense gratification. And Shastra says, if you think that way, then you are mad. You are mad because you cannot enjoy your senses and attain pleasure because you are not the body. The first thing in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna dispels Arjuna's doubt that you are not the body. Right? Dehi nos minyata dehi. Your body is changing, but you don't change. You can only get happiness if you if you connect with the spiritual, because you're spiritual, you must connect with something spiritual. And that something spiritual is Krishna. Because Krishna, his definition of his name is also Ananda. Right? Krishna. Right? Kishi bhu vachaka shabda nascha nivriti vachaka. Tayorakyam param brahma Krishna iti abhidhiyate. Mahabharat says. So the Krish is actually the existence. All jivas exist on, is resting on Krishna. Right? All attraction. Krish is also not only existent, Krish also means all attraction. Everyone is attracted to him. Akarshana. We are attracted to various sense object because we think that sense object can give us happiness. Right? But it cannot give us happiness. Just like I can only get happy if I eat food. If I eat this laptop, I cannot even get happiness because I cannot eat it. Understand? So Krish and Na refers to Ananda. Krishna is not the source of, not only the source of Ananda, he is Ananda himself. Krishna is the form of, he is the supreme Lord. Ananda is himself. So all these jivatmas are going everywhere. Ye yatama prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vatmanu vartante mrityu partha sarvasa. 4:11. Krishna says, everyone is following me in all respect. What does it mean that everyone is following me in all respect? Is everyone is searching for happiness. So if you're searching for happiness, you are actually searching for Krishna. But you're searching in the wrong place. Ultimately, you're searching for Krishna only. So unless we understand this point, then only we are dhira. We are intelligent. Kovida. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? If you participate in the Sankirtana movement, then you're known as Kovida. Very intelligent. But if you're after material pleasure and finding happiness through material pleasure, then you're foolish. So let's continue the verse. So so if he does not understand, his endeavor for a sense gratification is useless waste of time. Being forgetful of his own interests, he tries to be happy in the material world, centering his interest around home, which is based on sexual intercourse. So how to get this happiness? Firstly, he forgets who he is. He thinks he's this body, and anything related to the body becomes a source of the happiness. And also, raga and dvesha. What I get attached to something, I get raga, right? If this gives me happiness, and if that object, if something comes as an obstacle of getting happiness through this object, that becomes dvesha. For example, Arjuna showed a lot of compassion. Yes, he's compassionate as a devotee, right? But same time, that compassion was also based on raga and dvesha because he was attached to his relatives, family, right? And anything that becomes an obstacle to that family, he will show anger. Understand? If you are showing anger on something, that means you already have attachment to it. You understand this point? But let's say you have something, but you do not have any anger towards it. When you lose it, then you have no attachment. You understand this point? So this is how raga and dvesha works. We get attached to something, and that something gives us happiness. And if something comes as a problem towards the attainment of the happiness, that becomes an aversion. So like that, we are living our life in duality. Right? So Arjuna, even though there was compassion nature, but then there was also based on the principle of raga and dvesha because it was based on material bodily connection with the family. Right? So that is the problem. So now how the person gets happiness is he becomes forgetful, number one, of his interest. He becomes covered by avidya, kama, karma bhi. Later we'll see that verse. He tries to be happy in the material world. Then he tried to be happy by centering his interest around his home, which is based on sexual intercourse and which brings him all kinds of material misery. In this way, he's no better than the foolish animal. So this is how a person is being illusioned. So how this whole process takes place, you can see this verse. Kunti Devi is saying, Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karmabhi shravana smaranaharni karishyan iti kechana. And yet others say you appear in order to remove the devotion, renovate the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order the conditional soul suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. Prabhupada used a very interesting word here, renovate. The Lord appeared to renovate this lost misidentity. We have forgotten him, that we are his servant. We have become servant of Maya now. So the Lord has to come and renovate, like how you renovate your house, he's renovating your heart, right? So how, if you see these three words here, you can understand the summary of our suffering. Number one, bhaves mean klishyamananam. So in the material creation, asmin, those who are suffering. How we are suffering? Number one, avidya, we are covered with avidya. So avidya is a product of Maya. The Maya energy covers the Jivatma, who is a Tatasya Shakti, your marginal energy. Right? You're on the bank of the ocean. You can be covered by the ocean, or you can be, if there's low tide, the ocean does not cover you. So this is how our position is a marginal position. So when Maya covers us, overpowers us, right? Krishna, Bhairmukha Bhagavan Chakare, Nikatastha Maya Dhare, Japadiya Dhare. Right? When you turn away from Krishna, that means you turn towards everything which is not Krishna. What does turn away from Krishna means? You turn towards everything related to sense gratification. Right? Bhagavan, you want to enjoy Bhoga. You want to enjoy material nature. You don't want to be in the spiritual nature. And Nikatastha Maya Dhare, Japadiya Dhare. Then you are thrown very far away by this Maya. So when Maya covers you, number one, what sets in is called avidya. Avidya covers you, your identity. Firstly, you have to misidentify yourself. I've given this example many times. You are a kitten, but then you think you are a rat. When your mother comes to pick you up, the cat comes to pick you up, you run away because you think you are a rat, right? So cat comes, kitten runs away. That's our position. Krishna is coming, life after life, we are running away. No, I don't want you. I want sense gratification. I want to live with the rats. That's our life. So avidya comes. Once avidya comes, the next thing that comes is called kama, lust. We are covered by lust. Right? Kama esha krodha esha rajogana samudbhava mahasana mama mahapapma vidhinam iha vairinam. Lust is the greatest enemy. 337 Krishna says. Why is the greatest enemy? Because it is the subsequent step after avidya. So once your identity is covered, then you engage in so many lusty sense gratification activities. You commit so many sinful activities. This is called fruitive activities. You enjoy the fruits of your reaction. So next, after karma, what comes is karma. Karma bhi. Then why we say, why am I trapped in this karma? It's because we trace back that karma came from lust. That lust came from avidya. So if you destroy the root cause, avidya, right? If avidya can be destroyed, then you can come out of this. And how avidya can be destroyed is through, where's that? 11:22? But the Guru, is it 11:22:10? 10. Right. Anadi avidya yuktasya. So this avidya is anadi. You do not know when is the beginning. Right? Prabhupada used this word, time immemorial. Don't know when. It's like beginningless. Anadi avidya yuktasya purushasya atma vedanam swatona sambhavat anyas tattva jnano jnana do bhavet. Because a person who has been covered by ignorance since time immemorial, right, is not capable of effecting his own realization. Now we know we are covered by avidya. Avidya, then we are trapped in karma and karma. How to remove this karma? Right? We cannot do it ourselves. Not possible. We are not capable of effecting our own self-realization. But there must be some other personality who is in factual knowledge of the absolute truth and can impart knowledge to him. That person we have to surrender onto, and that is the Guru, spiritual master. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. He opens your eyes with the torch of knowledge. So the Guru connects with the disciple through knowledge. It's not that the Guru just chit-chat with the disciple. there is an exchange of Shabda Brahman. Shabda Brahman, Parabrahman. Knowledge of Shabda Brahman and Parabrahman, the Guru knows. Shabde Parecha Nishnata. Brahmane Upasamya. 11:3:21. So what the Guru does? He renovates. So Krishna, he says Krishna renovates, right? The Guru actually, who is the representative of Krishna, he is the one renovating your heart. That's what Kunti Devi is saying. So, Tasmad Guru Prabhadyeta Jignyasu Shreya Uttamam. He gives you the highest knowledge, Shreya, the most goodness. Sabde Parecha Nishnantam. Brahmani Upasamasrayam. So, Shabde means in the Vedas, Pare. He is very expert in the knowledge of the Vedas and the Supreme Lord. Perfectly knowledge. He knows this Brahmani, he knows these two aspects very well. And also Upashrama Ashraya means he is very detached from material affairs. Such a person. And therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness. So we were talking about happiness now. Sense gratification, things. You want real happiness, you must seek the bona fide spiritual master, the Guru, and take shelter of him through by initiation. So what is initiation? Dikshadi Shikshanam. Adav Guru Ashrayam Dikshadi Shikshanam. The first 64 limbs of bhakti. You seek out the Guru, and then you take Diksha, and not just Diksha, not just formal initiation. There must be Shiksha. That is very important. Without the Shiksha, then the initiation is also not fruitful. Understand? So the qualification of course, now we say there is no Srila Prabhupada. How he is going to give Shiksha? We give Shiksha through the Shiksha Guru. The temple president is the Shiksha Guru. So he guides us through the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. But ISKCON has failed to understand this point. They want to appoint unlimited, unqualified Diksha Gurus and create a mess. Right? So the qualification of the bona fide Guru is that he has realized the conclusion of scriptures. And by deliberation is able to convince others of this conclusion. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material consideration, should be understood as bona fide spiritual masters. So this is the only solution. If you want to understand what is real happiness and come out of this problem, we have to seek out the bona fide spiritual master. And that kind of person, you see, a devotee, pure devotee, he's not bewildered by this Bilva Swarga happiness. Aniviksheta Vishuddhatma Dehinam Vishayatmanaha Guneshu Tattva Jnanena Sarvarambha Viparyayam. Says a purified soul should see that because conditioned souls are dedicated to sense gratification and falsely accepted the object of sense pleasure as truth, all their endeavors are doomed to failure. So moga samoga karmana. A pure devotee, he can see this. Sometimes when we as devotees, when we associate with non-devotees, we suddenly start to think like them. Say, oh, this guy now has a new house, new car. We start to get influenced and we think, oh, if only I also had all this, I can be devotee, but at the same time I also want all this wealth, and we get influenced by the association. But a pure devotee, he never gets. He knows that all these are foolish, all these are wasting time. That kind of pure devotee we need to surrender and associate with. Then only it's possible to come out of the avidya. So these are the main points from today. What else I can say is that we are talking about avidya, then kama, karma bhi. So lust also cannot be satisfied. No matter how much sense gratification one can have, it will never be satisfied. As we saw in the story of Jayati, right? We see this verse, Jayati. Najatu kamanam upabhogena samyati havishya Krishna Vatmeva bhuya eva vivardite. As supplying butter into fire does not diminish the fire, but instead increase it more and more, the endeavor to stop lusty desires by continual enjoyment can never be successful. In fact, one must voluntarily cease from material desire. So material desire is like that. So this can be seen in the life of Yayati, right? He took away the youth of his son, Puru, right? So that Puru, so he can enjoy with his own mother, right? Devayani. And after thousands of years of enjoying, he was still not satisfied. In fact, he was so lusty that he even cursed all the other sons who denied the youth. And Yadu denied his father. It is said in Shastra, we should not deny our father. But Yadu, if your father is asking you to do sense gratification, then obviously you should deny, which is exemplified by Yadu. Because now if Yadu gives his youth to his father, the father is using his youth to enjoy, right? For example, I'm giving you money, you use my money to eat meat and smoke and drink, then what does that mean? You're enjoying, I'm getting implicated in karma, right? So Yadu, even though he was cursed, he did not want to get even more karma of giving his youth to his father, who is going to anyway use it for sense gratification. And of course, Yadu also understood Krishna will appear in his parampara, right? Krishna is going to come in Yadu Vamsha. So Yadu say, never mind, if I become old age now, that it will become very delayed. Never mind, I don't need to be king. That's why the Puru was given the benediction that his dynasty will rule the earth. And the Kauravas, the Pandavas, they were ruling. While Krishna, when he was there, Krishna was not ruling the entire earth. Krishna was ruling Dwaraka only. And he assisted the Pandavas to become the emperor of the world. He was upholding the curse. I mean, the curse that was given to, and curse and the blessing, the boon was given to Puru. But Puru actually, even though he seems very noble by giving the youth to his father, he also got, actually, if you think about it, he will get implicated somehow. Because now the father is using the youth to do sense enjoyment. And here the father is speaking out of his own realization. Yayati is saying, butter is added to fire. It cannot diminish the fire. The more butter you add, the more fire you get. You know? So there are some people like that, like Osho and all these philosophers, so-called philosophers. They say you enjoy sense enjoyment, and then one day the enjoyment will go away. No, it cannot go away. The more you enjoy, the more you want to enjoy. Then he's saying one must voluntarily cease from material desire. That is the only way. You know. And the previous verse also he says, a person who is lusty cannot satisfy his mind, even if he has enough of everything. Even you have everything, also you're not satisfied. In this world, including rice, barley, and other food grains, gold, animal, women, nothing can satisfy him. It's not possible. So Yayati, after 1,000 of years of enjoyment, he understood this point. So why we want to waste time? When somebody already realized this experience, that sense enjoyment is not going to give you happiness, why waste time? Why not enjoy together with Krishna? Right? That is why you get real happiness, by enjoying with Krishna. We think that if I sacrifice my time, my energy, my life to serve Krishna, my happiness is gone. No, but actually the happiness that you get from serving Krishna is the real happiness, the real joy. In CC, it is mentioned, Krishna re nachaya prema bhakti re nachaya apana nachaya tine nache ekatani. Aesthetic love for Krishna makes Krishna and his devotee dance, and it also dances personally in this way that all three dance together in one place. So Krishna is dancing, Bhakti is also dancing, devotee is also dancing. Anybody is upset now? Anybody is not having happiness? Anybody is in misery? No. When you serve Krishna, your happiness that you enjoy, it is unlimited, not saturated. But material happiness, it comes. Yehi samparchaja bhoga dukkha yonya evate. When happiness comes, immediately dukkha yonya, the happiness become pregnant with misery. When misery comes, happiness comes. Happiness comes, misery comes. This is how material. Adi antavanta kauntaya. There is always a beginning, there is an end. Na teshu ramate buddha. But the self-realized soul is not interested. He's not interested in such an enjoyment. Right? We also have gone to some billionaires' houses, right? The billionaire himself said, I'm not happy. Even though he has such a huge house, so much wealth, he's not happy. right? Of course, we may think that if I have this money, I'll be happy. But once you attain that position, also you will be coming to a point of saying, "I'm empty. I'm feeling emptiness," right? So, but when you serve Krishna, you never become a loser. Huh? You never become a loser. That is why also, what is his name? Narada Muni is telling to Vyasadeva, saying, "Tasyeva heta prayateta govida." One 158 in Tallabhyate Nalabhyate yad brahmatam upari adaha. So he says, Tasyeva heta prayateta govida. If you are an intelligent person, my dear Vyasa, tasyeva, you must only endeavor. See, tasya means for that purpose, eva, heta, reason, prayata. Prayata means endeavor. Everybody in this material world is endeavoring for sense gratification in order to attain happiness. But that sense gratification, karma, karma bhi, makes us take repeated birth and death. But now, Narada Muni is telling to Vyasa, if you want to endeavor for something, you should yes, you should endeavor for happiness. Everybody wants to be happy. That is a natural uh, constitutional position of the Jivatma to search for Ananda. Everybody wants Ananda, right? Uh, so now you want Ananda, but if you search for Ananda in the material life, we already saw how much difficult it's going to be, how much you're going to be entangled. But if you're intelligent, you make the prayata, the effort to search enjoyment. What is that enjoyment you should search for? Na labhyate yad brahmatam upari adaha. From you should not search for something which is available even from the Brahmaloka all the way down to Patala. There is from Brahmaloka all the way to Patala, there's various kinds of enjoyment, various kinds of sense enjoyment, sense happiness. That happiness you shouldn't search for. You should search for, you see the translation, right? You should search for Tallabhyate Dukkavat Anyata Sukham Kalena Sarvatara Gabira Ramahasa. He says, so persons who are actually intelligent, Kovida, and philosophically inclined should endeavor for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable by wandering from the topmost planet down to the lowest Patala. You should ask, okay, now when we come to pray to Krishna, you know what most of us are praying? Krishna, please solve my material problem. Please give me this material thing. Why are you praying for something which could be attained from the topmost planet to the lowest? This can be attained easily. You should pray for something which is unobtainable even in these three worlds. And that is Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Prem. That Bhakti is not found in these three worlds. Because when you have Bhakti, then everything automatically comes. You don't need to separately pray for material and enjoyment, material happiness. You yourself will be so much happy within as a byproduct. So, what we should pray for when we come to the Lord, don't pray for the material things. Pray for that happiness which is not obtainable in any other way. And that happiness is a product of performing bhakti for Krishna. Understand? So, what happens? So, you should, so now let's continue the verse. So, you should be inclined to endeavor for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet to the lowest, as far as happiness is derived from sense enjoyment is concerned. So Narada Muni is saying, as far this sense enjoyment that you're after, as far as it is can be obtained automatically in course of time. In course of time, nobody endeavors for happiness. Distress, but distress comes. Nobody prays to God for distress. It comes. Similarly, happiness also will come. Whatever is in your quota, that will come. So don't bother about this. Just in course of time, we obtain miseries, even though we do not desire them. We don't desire miseries. It comes, right? So don't bother about these material things, material happiness. When you pray to God, Krishna, you pray for that thing which is the highest, which is the best, right? And when you pray for that, the highest is bhakti. When many times we hear this thing, why we should pray for bhakti, but this is why. Because anything you pray for is not going to make you happy at all, right? Yata charet bhalahita pita swayam tata tvam evarasina samihitam. What is that verse? Prithu Maharaj says, my Lord, he says, Tanmaya yatya jana isha kandito yadan yadashastaritatmano buddha. For 23 or 20? Yata charet balahita pita swayam tata tvamev rasina samhitam. Prithu Maharaj says, my Lord, due to your illusory energy, all living beings in this material world have forgotten their real constitutional position. Exactly what is happening to us. And out of ignorance, we are always desirous of material happiness in the form of society, friendship, and love. This is the whole class in a nutshell. Right? Tvanmaya yatya jana isha khandito. Yad anyad. Anyad means we want something else but the Lord. Asasta rithatmano buddhaha. This is what is our life is about. Covered by ignorance, forgetting our real identity, searching for material happiness, trapped in this cycle. So what he says, Prithu Maharaj says, what you should pray for? Yata acharet bhala hita pita swayam. Therefore, please do not ask me to take some material benefits from you, but as a father, pita swayam, you're my father, not wanting the son's demand, does everything for the benefit of the son. Please bestow me whatever you think is best for me. This is the best prayer we can pray for. What is the best prayer? Ask for the Lord. You are my father. You know what is best for me. I do not know. A child may ask something which is wrong, but the father knows this is not right for the child. Right? Sometimes the child may ask for a gift which is not useful. The child may ask for PlayStation, and you may buy a PlayStation, and then they got distracted after that. And right. So, but Prithu Maharaj understands. You know what is best for me, and what is best for me is Krishna Bhakti. So you give me Bhakti. Right? This is what we should pray for. Punashta bhuyat bhagavati anante ratim prashangasya tadashreyesu mahatsu yam yam upayami shristim maitri astu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. What is that? 119? Prabhu? Punashta bhuyat bhagavati anante ratim prasangasya tadashreyesu. 119:35. This is prayer by Parikshit Maharaj. Yes. 119:16. 119:16. Parikshit Maharaj, he didn't pray. You know, after he got the kingdom, everything he got. He has everything. Right? But when some distress happened to him, he didn't go to the Lord. You know, he was cursed to die in 7 days, right? Parikshit Maharaj by Shringi. He didn't go to the Lord, say, my Lord, 7 days I'm going to die. Please remove this curse from me. He prayed for something which is not obtainable within these three worlds. Na labhyate uparyama brahmatam uparyataha. From Brahma Loka to lowest planet. He did not pray for that. He prayed for three things. Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante. So he says bhagavati anante means let me develop punascha bhuyat. Again and again, let me develop loving devotional service to Bhagavati, the Lord, the Supreme Lord Krishna. Number one. Number two, rati prasangasya tarashrayeshu. Let me have attraction to the association of devotees. Devotee always pays for this. Ashrayeshu. Let me have their ashra, their ashraya, their shelter. Mahatsu yam yam upayami shristim. You know, Maitri astu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. Maitri astu means let me have friendship to all the living beings. Sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. O Brahmanas. Right? So three things he prays for. He doesn't pray for even liberation. Mahatsu yam yam upayami shristim. Even though I can come again and again. Upayami shristim. Shristim means creation. Even though I may appear again and again, I don't want liberation. He doesn't have the karma for liberation also. He asks for three things, right? Again, I offer my obeisance to you, my dear Brahmanas. I pray that if you again I should take birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord. Bhagavati Anante, association of his devotees. Ratim prashangasya, attraction, right? Ratim means attraction. Ratim prashangasya, that ashrayeshu, and friendly relationship with all beings. Maitri astu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. Three things he prayed for. So this will give us real happiness. Association of devotees, devotion to Lord, and friendly relation with all living beings. The devotee does not pray for enmity. He's friend of everyone. Like Yudhishthira, he was a friend of everyone, right? Yudhishthira, he says, what is that? What is the word called? Paradukka Dukki. He has no misery on his own, but he sees other people suffering, then he takes his as his suffering. So pure devotee is like that. Dhira jana priya karo. Those who are dhira and adhira, both are also attracted to their association. So this is what we should pray for. So okay, we will stop the class here. Is there any questions or comments? The what? This is what? No, it's there, but they don't feel it. Yeah, they don't feel it. If it's not there, then how they will die? One day they have to die, right? So it's there, but they don't perceive it. So Kala Chakra is there. Kala Chakra is there, just that they don't feel it. Just like now you may be going through some very painful situation, but they put anesthesia. You don't feel it, right? It's like that. So so Kala Chakra is there. So if you see the power of Kala Chakra, you can see here, spoken by 3:29:38, Kapila Dev, right? Kapila Dev is saying, this is talking about the Kala Chakra. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality Godhead, who is the enjoyer of all sacrifice, is the time factor and the master of all masters. He enters everyone's heart. He is support of everyone, and he causes every being to be annihilated by another. So this destruction will happen to the material world. Material world always goes through this change. 6 changes, right? It takes birth, right? It grows. There are 6 changes, right? It takes birth, it grows, it produces some byproducts, it remains for some time, it dwindles, and it vanishes. These 6 changes always affects the material world, and that 6 changes is caused by the time factor of the Lord. You see, so then even the next verse you can see the time factor is mentioned. No one is dear to the Supreme Personality God, and not anyone is enemy or friend, but he gives inspiration to those who have forgotten him, destroy those who have. Sorry, not this verse, 37, sorry. The time factor who causes the transformation of various material manifestation is another feature of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Anyone who does not know that this time is same as Supreme Personality Godhead is afraid of time. So why we get afraid of time? Because we do not know this time factor is a representative of the Lord, the Kala Chakra. But if you know who is the in charge of this time, and I'm not affected by time, devotee knows, because after the time is finished, he goes back to Vaikuntha or Goloka, right? So any other question? 6:3, and the time does not affect the devotee. Yes. My dear servants, again, this was the Yamaraj was. Yeah. Yamaraj telling his servant, my dear servants, do not approach such devotees who are fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality Godhead. They are equal to everyone, and their narrations are sung by the demigods, the inhabitants of Chittaloka. Please do not even go near them. They are always protected by the club of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Therefore, Lord Brahma and I, even time factor, are not competent to chastise them. So, pure devotees of the Lord, right? The time does not affect them. Yamaraj says, don't go near them also. Those who are chanting. Okay. And of course, in the subsequent verse, he says, if they are not chanting, if they are not devotee, then go and get them. That order is also given. Okay. So, any other thing? Nothing. Okay. So, we'll stop here. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki. What a comment.